Time for the topic everybody's been waiting for. Retro achievements. So yeah, there's a lot here, so buckle up. So we'll start with a shit post. So this is the one image from Dude that he said was cool to show. So Telly, we discussed him last time, one of the developers that decided to quit developing on Retro Achievements, has made his own Discord server, and as a joke he made a channel called Sensitivity Training. So it's kind of funny. Some updates from Dude. I see Dude's here. About to go lurker mode. RA just needs to separate Scott and X-Keeper and implement the mature hub properly. Yeah. Please only show what's already been put on KiwiFarms. Yeah. Yeah, aside from that one image that I just showed, yeah. Everything else is from either KiwiFarms or other places. Nothing else is... none of the other images I'm going to show are anything that you sent me. So, from KiwiFarms here... what's this? Yes. So this seems to be the current proposal that I found over on KiwiFarms. So most of this information is going to come from either... so information, not images, from Dude. That there are also... There's also some information from Clymax, who was in the chat earlier. So he's been cataloging a lot of this stuff on his website. And then, of course, KiwiFarms has archived a ton of information as well. So this is from KiwiFarms. So this seems to be the current proposal. Oh, there he is, Clymax. So this seems to be the current proposal from the community to Scott, which is the ability for users to block games from view, which would be ideal. The more quote-unquote problematic games would be hidden from everyone by default. Not a fan of having to log in just to view everything, but I mean, I guess it's better than having them banned outright. Games would be prohibited from having new achievement set announcements. Fine, I guess. Prohibited from being required for events, which is fine. Claimed by junior devs, because someone would need to subject themselves to the game, whatever. And then this would be really nice. The banned games list is to be reverted to its previous state, which I believe would mean only illegal games would be banned. So that would be ideal. And yes, this would result in players being given a choice. Yeah, so... And this seems to be the direction that they're trying to go in. And on a side note, he says, some admins and mods think there should be a discussion with you soon regarding Scott vetoes. It's probably not urgent, but plenty of them were stressed out by recent events, so it's definitely a topic that should come up. And I'll explain what the Scott veto thing is in a bit. Yeah. So, I will jump into a few things here. So, before we do that, I will mention... so, we went through some of this info that Dude mentioned as well. Yes, the mature category we mentioned. Yeah, and the goal of this new server is to get this stuff through, as well as to get Scott away from X-Keeper, who we're going to talk about X-Keeper, by the way, and reel in Scott's power, which I wouldn't expect it. Supposedly, according to Telly, Scott's big concern was random people stumbling onto the more mature achievement sets. Scott himself claims he didn't know much about X-Keeper before the drama. So we'll find out. I don't know either way. Fracture says, why it wasn't just the fault to give people the choice is just beyond me. Well, it's because the political troons complained, and that's what happens. You know? People come in who are just there to talk politics and, you know, shove their politics into your hobby. These people show up, and that's what happens. So... Okay, so we will start here with Bahamut Void, who I forget if we mentioned him last time, but this guy Bahamut Void. So I'll show you a photo first. So he posted this community post on Retro Achievements, or sorry, a forum post, saying it's time for me to go. I'll be leaving the community permanently. And then he posted a giant paste bin, which we do have an archive of. So I will go off of... Oh, but before we do... Scott here, who can't let anything sit unmolested, edited the post. So as you can see, Bahamut Void has in fact deleted his account. Yeah. So I've got in more detail here, and then Scott naturally removed the link. Until I can confirm there are no passwords, etc. in this collection of shared private data. Now, the link was never put back. So it's clear he just removed it so people couldn't see it. Neo just played a couple of achievement sets from Bahamut Void. Okay, nice. But thankfully we have archives here. So thanks to Clymax, and there's a version on KiwiFarms as well, and the downloads are still there. So I won't read the whole thing because it is massive. So, yeah, so he's also archived some of this. And then it was taken down for Pastebin as well. Presumably, because Scott likely reported the Pastebin to Pastebin. So they removed it because it was deemed potentially harmful. So yeah. So I'm not going to read all this because it is like... He just goes on and on and on and on. But in short, he says he didn't want to leave the site. RetroAchievements supports openness, but only when it's convenient. He didn't want to leave the site, but now he's decided he's leaving permanently. So he reads a bunch of stuff. It started when we received a thinly veiled threat from a user claiming the site's administration, quote, not only tolerates 4chan culture, the type that has been repeatedly demonstrated to cultivate the mentality that led to the current blah, 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 blah. And then nobody involved could be trusted to handle this good faith. It ended with a demand that we see self-development on the public online Clover hack, or else they were going to use their industry contacts and campaign RA users to leave the site in droves, and so on. And Bahamut Void says he wanted to implement, as Fractured put it, he should just implement content filtering options. We have an adult hub with limited functionality. And yes, it was meant to hide sets for those who didn't know the full context of what they were getting into, not act as a general 18+ hub for games like GTA and God of War. So yeah, ideal compromise, blah, 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 blah. So initially, Scott thanked us for this being handled perfectly. 100% happy with and support the decisions taken so far that represent RA. They did not want a neutral response. They wanted an immediate change. So yeah. This went as well as you would expect. Just have a general reminder of what the team already thought. It was made about Clover specifically. The announcement has since been deleted, and we talked about that achievement before. And then, of course, Scott intervenes to kill Clover's ongoing development directly. And then suddenly it's not just about Clover. We're considering making sweeping changes because Blue Sky is blowing up. Because, of course, Blue Sky, the gay website. In the midst of all this, second mistake happens. Posted with Wave Closed Forum. Telly leaves. Censorship is kind of a big deal, Tim. And considering how quickly on this 180, I don't blame him for opting out. Blah, blah, blah. Auburn is concerned about site growth and optics. Scott isn't really about that. Scott then, for the rest of the discussion, keeps contradicting himself in any effort to find the correct path forward. So, blah, 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 blah. Nobody involved took the necessary amount of time to discuss things. Nobody's happy now. Those with extreme views object to use of both sides. Let's see. Scott was very concerned over being doxxed and receiving death threats. Later, it was shared to me by Wes they hadn't been personally targeted. We don't know that at the time, so we continue flip-flopping to appease angry users that were understandably furious. Back to moderating Discord. Let's see. So, skip some of this. So now he's talking about himself being doxxed. So... yeah, so he says he was doxxed. Won't go into too many details here. But yeah, so Bahamut Void claims he was doxxed And then, yeah, he acknowledges the violation of trust that Scott acknowledges the violation of trust that took place, but otherwise stands by his new stance. Either doesn't acknowledge or simply misinterprets the majority of his post, and it made to feel that it's my responsibility to prevent this from happening to others. 15 minutes later, another announcement goes out. And this is the thing we talked about earlier. There have been no confirmed doxing attempts or threats directed at RetroAchievements staff. We have confirmed doxing took place within our community, however, and perpetrators have been permanently banned. No direct threats have been confirmed at this time, and any that might arise will not alter the decisions above. Our moderation team addressed all reported threats. So you guys remember this. We talked about this last week. And then it turned out that Telly, who was talking about doxing, was made to look like a liar because of that announcement. Yeah, and so he says he had been removed as a moderator and was informed that this was supposedly intended to prevent him from being targeted further. Yeah, so Discord doesn't remove you from the channel you're in when you lose a role. Let's see. So full timeline of events. Yeah, we don't need all this. There's doxing and whatnot. Let's see. So, tell Scott, assuming what you said to tell you is true. I understand you wanted to protect your family. Final announcement as writings that there were no direct threats. The mod channels are now hidden from me. Had I not prepared in advance, all potential proof would have otherwise vanished. It's already known that they're deleting or hiding everything they can in an effort to reframe things. I mean, that's true. We're seeing it. Let's see. You tell you to message RA admin if you need to. If from what I saw, they only responded to positive responses and mocked others. Not surprising. People are afraid to speak out. Makes sense. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Anything else? Yeah, so. In other words, he's very upset and he quit. Either got banned or deleted his account. Yeah, this is all just more reasoning behind stuff. Clover's Pokemon hack. Parody of 4chan and Pokemon. Periwinkle is another. Ultimately, decision to remove was based on only two criteria, which were its association with Clover West using AI to scan the game script. Let's see. Supposedly, the developer working on Clover has since regretted dropping the claim because it was amidst pressure from Scott and Wes. They feel like leaving now, but can't really do it after investing so much time. More games up on the chopping block. Yeah, already bad faith arguments floating around like banning Harry Potter games because of source material, authors' views. Scarface because it depicts hate speech against a minority that was acceptable at the time of its release. And so on. So then he's just talking to a bunch of people here. Complaints to Scott. No secret you've been hands off with the project for years at a time. Mods and admins had explicit permission to act in your stead. So you bought. Okay, so you became a junior dev. Possible for me not to find you personally responsible. Blah 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 blah. All of that, however, pales in comparison to how you worsened every single situation. You repeatedly lied. That RA did not bow to threats. You fanned the flames by removing his mod. And you contributed to the amount of hate I received while assuring everyone nothing happened. Let's see. You were and always have been out of your depth in a project that for the longest time you barely participate in. So he's talking to a bunch of other people, which we'll just skip. Then I believe... Yeah, so the rest of this is not hugely important here. Okay. So, yeah, that is Bahamut Void's quitting, and yeah. Yep, good people still follow the archive and screenshot method. Yep, and I do have everything here. And I believe most of this is safe to show, so it should be fine. And so then the screenshot from Telly here, which I believe is from KiwiFarms. So here's the thing. It seems like Bahamut Void is believed to have fabricated his doxing. So as Telly says here, and yeah, dude is saying the same thing in chat. So the admins and mods in Telly's server are certain that the alleged doxing of Bahamut Void was fabricated. The images came apparently from his own machine, so either his machine was compromised or he manufactured the entire thing. Threatening images lined up directly, identically with his chosen Discord theme. Of everyone with access, only his Discord had those exact preferences. Let's see. Only people who saw the threatening images were the people he shared them with. Discord logs that he pulled and distributed stopped before he lost his role, unlike what he claims. They also spanned various private channels. If he truly felt threatened, especially with his family involved, why he spent the time he did on the basement farewell, why continue communicating? Yeah, so he's just talking about himself a little bit. So, yeah, so it sounds like the Bahamut Void doxing may have been fake. So it's still not totally clear. But there is still a lot of interesting information that came out of the Bahamut Void thing. And yes, Clymax mentioned the downloads were removed as well. Mirrors are included. I do have that. I grabbed the mirrors stuff from the KiwiFarms thread. Even Telly is on that page. Yes. Yeah, he is. All right, welcome back, Sergey. Jam the Ripper. Interesting. Welcome.
The more the magicer.
Don't believe Telly. Most people on 4chan don't believe that dox was fabricated, just damage control. So that's interesting. I have not been following this on 4chan. I don't know. Again, I don't know any of these people aside from Dude. So Dude here is in contact with Telly, I believe. At least he's in that server. He's talking to people over there. So, and I do know Dude. So if Dude trusts Telly, I would be inclined to believe Dude. But again, it's hard for me to say since I'm not first-hand involved. Clymax says Bahamut Void Chapter 2 got added. Definitely 5 Central. Interesting. Let me jump onto your timeline here. Here we go. Former moderator. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for that, Clymax. So, on October 12th, he says, in light of the number of responses I've received, I hadn't seen this before. I'm not convinced that this issue goes just beyond just upper management. I don't know how to respond to being informed that I've overreacted to destroy 5 years just because personal information was sent to me from someone using an alt account. So is this from before or after the accusation of him making up the... Is this before or after the accusation of him making up the doxing? Yeah, this doesn't have a date on it. He was probably privately notified of their findings. Okay. Even if you don't agree with any of this, I just ask that you consider I love the site for 5 years. None of this is okay. I never made anyone aware of this archive before making it public. That's fine. This that about pirates. Cheating epidemic. Yeah, that's fine. RA has always been based on an honor system, and we pretend it's not. The whole hope is people don't know how to cheat or won't if the option is easily accessible. That's good and fine. Yeah, so this is just some updates here. Probably not a lot to focus on in this update. But yes, it is unfortunate So, yeah, this Bahamut Void situation is still very, very weird. There's enough for a third stream. Potentially. Potentially. We'll see. Let's see. So, a few more updates here. So I'm not going to show everything because some of the stuff isn't hugely relevant. But there is a document from another person here, American Slacker. Let's see if this will open. Oh, there we go. So another giant document posted by this guy, American Slacker. So I believe this was posted back in September, so beforehand. But he basically is saying that he wants to... Basically saying he's quitting. So there's a bunch of stuff here, and he is also very unhappy with the way that things were going in general. RetroAchievements. Let's see. So, this is why it was relevant. So, I know people were wondering about Wii development. So, this is something that Bahamut Void dropped in his links. So, the Dolphin developers supposedly have never really been hugely helpful to RetroAchievements. And it sounds like they're getting even more annoyed for whatever reason, not wanting to help after all this. So they're saying Dolphin's internal conversations are extremely concerning. Like, I'm genuinely afraid this will cause the Wii rollout to get canceled. And now here, this guy, who was apparently a big part of the Wii rollout, has also quit. So it seems likely that the Wii rollout would, in fact, get delayed, if not outright canceled. Horizon 11 as well, I believe. Okay, I assume that's another dev. So yeah, this guy has quit, and then, yeah, most of this is just shout-outs to people. But yeah, so it's another example of someone quitting who was a big part of RetroAchievements. And again, part of what makes this so important is that once people quit, it's unlikely they're going to come back. Oh, hey, you get a shout out here, Clymax. But FF11 modded private server. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Final Fantasies. I didn't even realize Final Fantasy 11 was still around. But yeah, so that's why that is relevant. It's because of the Wii rollout. Dolphin already has RetroAchievement integration. All it needs to happen is devs add achievements for Wii games, since Wii is already supported in Dolphin. Okay, I see. So yeah, it sounds like that might slow down the Wii rollouts then, if a bunch of devs are quitting. But, okay, so it wouldn't be canceled then. I see. Interesting. What does RetroAchievements need from Dolphin? I assume it would just be developer support, so for help with things like bug fixes. Yeah, it has integration with RetroAchievements for achievement unlocks done server to server. So, yeah, I guess that would that's first of its kind on RetroAchievements. Yeah, so I assume you're talking about Dolphin here. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. So yeah, it would be development support, right? Because the Dolphin developers know the Dolphin code inside and out, whereas RetroAchievements developers are basically digging in and trying to figure out how the Dolphin code works in the first place. So, let's see. And I know... Oh, I see what you're saying. Like Dolphin, Horizon threatened to pull out as far as you know. I see. Okay. So this private Final Fantasy XI server threatened to pull out of supporting RetroAchievements as well. I got you. So this is a little bit of a follow-up here from American Slacker. Nothing too much here. But he's very upset by basically saying, I learned the hard way that no matter what you do for people, the moment you're no longer convenient to them, they will throw you aside. Since leaving, I've been told I'm welcome back as a dev when I decide to return by some admins and mods I will not name, but know better. Getting booted off a side server is all the proof I needed to know how unwelcome I truly am. But yeah. So, and Jam the Ripper is saying, TLDR version, Slacker was in the Wii rollout and accidentally leaked some stuff by writing in the wrong chat, and they kicked him off without a warning. Everyone's replaceable to them. Yep, that seems to match up with what he's saying here. The replaceable part, anyway. But yeah, for a small mistake like that, that's ridiculous. Oh, I see. So Horizon threatened to pull out if Clover was not banned. Yeah, and I think that's what's going on with Dolphin, too. That makes sense. So they were getting pushed to ban people there. So yeah, I guess they were in a bit of a hard place. But I mean, this would never have happened if the Clover person hadn't made such a big stink. So yeah, I do know that Clymax here has made a big timeline of events, if you guys want to check that out at some point, on his website, ff5central.com. So, yeah, he's been cataloging all this, because obviously this is very important to him. So, yeah, if you guys want to really dig into it, you can look at this. And I know he has some personal drama going on here as well. So we can touch on that really briefly. So in short, yeah, it looks like Clymax was demodded. Sorry, his roles are all taken away. This does seem like a real, like something really concerning. Your developed achievements are no longer your own, but belong to the site, according to their developer code of conduct. Which is true. When you publish your work, you're giving it over to the community to be reviewed and reworked. And this is kind of messed up. You don't own your published achievements, but you're still the caretaker in terms of bug fixing and maintenance. So that does seem wrong to me. I mean, at the very least, I do understand saying, you know, hey, these achievements belong to the community, so you can't just, like, you know, delete them and go run away or something. But at the same time, like, you should still have at least, like, the general credit and ownership, you know? You should be able to say, hey, I'm the one who made this. And that should always be something that sticks with you. Highly condensed and updated version of the Slacker letter was recently added as a prologue chapter to the timeline. Yeah, I saw that. Jam the Ripper, it is wrong for sure. Yep. Yeah, I really don't agree with that policy here. Betting they need to hack authors. Studios like Nintendo will give them the middle finger to hack authors. Yep. Go to great lengths to prevent sharing ROMs. Of course, Nintendo are crazy. So yeah, of course you can't host or distribute, blah, blah, blah. But they have no qualms about engaging in the illegal act of mass copying and hosting ROM hack patches without hack author permission. So yeah, that's not right either. You really shouldn't be hosting other people's work like that if you're not hosting, you know, the game ROMs themselves. At the very least, there should be like a link or something instead of a direct download, which makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, so ROM hacking sites typically honor a hack author's request to take down a ROM hack patch. Understandable. Even ROM sharing websites honor such requests. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, happen to your own hacks, yep. Which is why you're writing about it, understandably. So, Now here's the one that seems to be most personal to Clymax. They decided not to allow paid hacks. So they decided not to allow paid ROM hacks, which Clymax works on. The ROM hack patches are legally sold, which is fine. In this case, no one from RetroAchievements even tried to reach out to you. Understandable. So this is, he's saying that GBA script port to Final Fantasy V, this mod has been banned for being illegal elsewhere in the modding scene, which is curious. Patch file still contains verbatim the entire script of game story and dialogue from Final Fantasy V. It's copyright work of Square. Cannot be legally redistributed. That's interesting. So I do... Yeah, okay, so this is just about documentation here. Yeah, so I do... In this case, you may not completely like my response to this here, Clymax. But I do understand as a blanket policy, possibly not allowing paid ROM hacks because, you know, they're paywalled and maybe there might be concern, okay, we don't want something paywalled to have achievement sets because, you know, you have to pay. Basically, you would have to pay to get the achievements effectively. It's kind of shaky logic, but I could understand that. But I do agree with you on the rest of this. Their policies are very sketchy, very arbitrary. So, yeah, I do agree with you that these are not the best policies, and I guess it just goes to show that RetroAchievements has historically not had the best policies here. Interesting. Paid Homebrew continues to get RetroAchievement support. Yeah, so if paid Homebrew is getting achievement support, but paid ROM hacks aren't, yeah, then that just makes it worse, because, yeah, that is completely arbitrary then. Which I suppose makes sense from the way RetroAchievements has been handling things so far. So, back to the Bahamut Void thing. He did release a whole bunch of links, and I probably won't show a ton of this. There are some things here that are interesting. For instance, so this is Scott talking about being doxxed. Right? He says, this is back on October 3rd. He said, I'm being doxxed and threatened by people who are upset about Pokemon Clover. And it's just a conversation with Telly. Then he turns around and says, this was October 9th. Just an FYI, the choice to course correct isn't at all because we're being told what to do. It's much more,
we've been educated on something that starts to get a seriously damaging precedent for the site. Guidelines like these are totally normal thing to put into a place as the community grows. We've just never needed them before. It was all done on vibes.
so there you go. But then, yeah, but then the, yeah, so Scott said no doxing, but then, is it here, I think? Here we go. So he said there were no threats against RA staff. So then he says there was no doxing. Yeah, exactly, Fractured. We've been educated. Yeah, fuck off. Exactly. Show everything, I dare you. The reason they may host a specific patch is because new versions will always break the achievements, since they have to catch. I don't know what word this is supposed to be. Since they have... Oh, since they have to patch RAM. Yeah. It makes sense, but I think they should, at the very least, get permission from the ROM hack creators. And there should probably be a way to take down ROM hacks if they are... If the creator of the ROM hack requests that. Let's see. So there's other stuff here. This is the hack authors are making old versions available. That's all good and fine. I think what dude is saying, Clymax, is that In case something happens to an old version, it would be there for archival purposes. But once again, I think that would really be solved by one, getting permission, and two, having some way for the author of the ROM hack to request that it be taken down. All right, let's see. So, so by the way, this was the opinion Scott had a while back. So somebody asks him, do you think there are things you could have done as an individual to significantly turn down the temperature on this drama? And Scott goes,
Put my foot down to race hate or anti-Semitic content years ago.
so in other words, he's thinking he should have banned more stuff years ago. Which tells you how this guy thinks. So yeah. There you go. Retro Achievements clones hack patches without authorization, and only links to the clone and does not link to the source. Yeah, they should absolutely link to the source. I completely agree with you there. Back. Yeah. Yeah, you can say that on Rumble, I guess. Alright, so there are a few other things here. Okay, so in here, I believe he did. Oh, wait. Just making sure I got everything here. So there was something about Periwinkle. There we go. What? What do you mean it can't be accessed? Jeez. Okay, that worked. Okay, so this is the discussion behind Pokemon Periwinkle that Bahamut Void had archived. Before, yeah. So it's prequel to Pokemon Clover. And here we go. So this is the Scott veto that was being discussed in the earlier image that I showed. So they were having a discussion on what to do with Periwinkle. They were trying to, you know, have a vote. Should we do it? Should we not do it? And then Scott comes in and just says, I'm going to override this vote to say that support for this hack needs to be removed, pending the forthcoming policy update, due to the excessive hate speech that the ROM contains. So there you go. So regardless of the poll and all that, Scott just came in and said, yep, we're banning it. Which is not a great way to run things, especially when you're not really directly involved with the site 99% of the time. So yeah, that is that's that. So now I think it's worth here we are. Jam says, Scott wasn't around for most of the time of the decade. He often appeared one time for 15 minutes a month, checked the news, added his 2 cents, and gone again. So yes, things were done without him. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. And it seems like it seems like maybe he really is just there to collect the Patreon bucks at this point. So, yeah, and it seems like they're bringing up, Retro Achievements is even bringing on new developers. This is one of them. Notice anything? Notice anything, chat? About this new developer? I'm just gonna let you notice. I'm just gonna let you do some noticing. So this is the kind of person that's being brought on. Yep. Nope, nothing out of the ordinary. Alright, so... So, I think we've looked at most of what's relevant here. He's a big Twitch streamer and associated with GDQ, I believe. Makes sense, but I mean, it's not exactly the best look. So, next up, I think what's nice is... Well, actually, you know what? Why don't we laugh at some cringe here? So, Redditors were talking about Pokemon Clover here. And as you can see... The Reddit... Here we go. Highly upvoted post.
This was the right call. If people want to play it on their own, they still can, but hosting hacks like this in an entirely community-driven site and bringing in channels would only lead to a negative impact. The comments on the Clover page before its removal had so many dog whistles and edgelords as it was. I find it idiotic to even hold up defenses about this for a second.
So this is, yeah, this is literally the typical Redditors just soying out over how happy they are that this was banned. And this is why I hate Reddit and Redditors.
I know I shouldn't be surprised every time I run into people praising this hack, but I'm still floored people genuinely play or support it. It's honestly kinda sad. Yeah, instant red flag.
Yeah, and of course they all jump to the...
I assume they're all 13 to 18-year-old boys, where cringe humor is considered edgy and cool instead of stupid and ignorant. Great move in my opinion. Communities like this are built on our diversity and universal love for Pokemon. A game built on racist and hateful ideals should not be included. Most important thing to remember about this is really simple. If you allow Nazis on your site, then it becomes a site with Nazis.
I feel so alive!
Nerdineo tipped $13.37. I think we all learned a valuable lesson. Achievements suck, and the only people that care about them are bad people. And Massa Windu.
Oh my god!
Holy crap, thank you, Nerdy Neo. I didn't know you... I'm so surprised that you completely did a 180 on your love of achievements. Blasphemy. Yeah, so... Oh, man. So someone... Hey, Insidious Bliss! I'm guessing this is Insidious Bliss, right?
Welcome, valued customer!
Just a strong guess. Just a strong guess. It was probably Bliss. So thank you, Bliss. I really appreciate it. So, Bliss, as Nerdy Neo says, Nerdy Neo just tipped $13.37. I think we all learned a valuable lesson. Achievements suck, and the only people that care about them are bad people. And Mace Windu. Oh man, that was good. That was great. Thank you, Bliss. Oh man. From my soy accent to my French accent. All right. You know, let's catch up with chat really quick. Games Done Quick banned Harry Potter, as far as I know. Yeah, I think they banned Harry Potter. They banned a bunch of other stuff. There's actually... you know what? Let me see if I can find it. Like I've said before, I'm a little bit nervous to show KiwiFarms on stream. But I might be able to just like copy the image and show it to you guys. Or actually, you know what? We might be able to just look it up. Games Done Quick ban games. Let's see. Yes, Harry Potter, every Harry Potter game. Here we go. Yeah, so they banned everything Harry Potter. A lot of these are fine because it's like, you know, anything prohibited on Twitch or like Honey Pop, that's porn, right? So it's understandable. But why on earth is Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden banned? This is just like a... Isn't this just like a, what, a fan game? Five Nights at Freddy's, I know they banned that because the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's is like a conservative Christian or something. But yeah, they banned a bunch of stuff for no real reason. Yeah, so Fracture said, I know I'm not a major user of RetroAchievements and it wouldn't matter what I do in the grand scheme, but goddamn, I think I've just stopped using it, deleting my own account. Yeah, I don't even have an account because, like, I myself am not an achievement person anyway. So, but yeah, it makes me never want to make an account or even bother with RetroAchievements. Scott once made a $250 donation to GQ to draw attention from the money he got from the patrons. I doubt he asked anyone. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, it seems like he's probably just there to keep Patreon bucks going. That didn't sound like Nerdy Neo to me. Well, it's set in stone now, Fractured. This is, Nerdy Neo is officially abandoning all achievements. He no longer likes achievements. Who did that? Bliss. The way the auto voice said it, yeah. Yeah, because I wanted to sound like the French narrator from SpongeBob. Totally agreed. Yeah. Yada, yada. Yeah, good to see it, Bliss. Hope you're doing well, man. The Brazilian YouTuber from Timeline Prologue Chapter 2 is spearheading an alternative achievement website after getting banned for protesting against a known exploit by his stream. Yeah, and this goes to... and you know what? I may as well bring this up now. The problem with these forks is a lot of times it's just not realistic to put everything together and get people on board. So as he says here, and I just like the way he put this, sure, you could create a fork of an emulator, create a plugin, and link it to RetroArch, set up a mirrored RetroArch. But that's so comically obtuse it misses the entire point of the service, a problem even Bahamut maligned in that big post a few pages back. The fun of RetroAchievements is all the number spurging, seeing the values weighed across modes and sets, seeing who has what and how people tend to play games, lose the community, and you may as well just write down your little goals on a napkin. Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense to me, right? Okay, it's not going to be a fork. Okay, interesting. But either way, you still have to set... The whole point is the community, right? So you would have to have a way to bring the community over. Let's see... Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden is a basketball-themed RPG. Yeah. So I know Wang has a video on it, and I saw that forever ago. It's like a spin-off fan game of Barkley Shut Up and Jam, right? Also, I don't think I've seen it yet today. All Blue Warlock.
The more the magicer.
Dude says he did tell patrons beforehand, I assume, about the spending. Sure, right, yeah, makes sense. That's all cool. But yeah, so I think that's everything directly. He's one of two leading Brazilian RA streamers and has 50k subs. Okay. Well, that's good. I don't know how many users does RetroAchievements have as a whole, though. Not long. Woke up, took care of what I needed to, then hopped on. All right. Well, glad to have you here. Yeah. So let's see. We laughed at Reddit. Yeah. So we laughed at these Redditors. All right. So now we're gonna end up on what I think is a very interesting semi-tangent, which is we're going to dig into Scott's new friend, X-Keeper. Also, be careful with what you trust from Bahamut stuff. Turns out he lied about a few things, may have taken others out of context. Yeah, so we did talk about that a little bit. There is discussion that it seems like he may have faked being doxxed, as well as... yeah, well, that's the main thing. So I am using some of like the screenshots and stuff, but yeah. So we did talk about that. His doxing is likely fake. 3,000 to 5,000 concurrent daily users. Tell us likely how they inflated due to alts. Okay. Makes sense. That's for retro achievements. Let's see. Yeah, so we are going to jump into some discussion on Scott's new friend, X-Keeper. So, this is X-Keeper, chat. I want you to look at this image and tell me what you see. Does this look like the kind of person who supports freedom of speech? What do you think, chat? So, X-Keeper here. Yikes. And no, they most likely do not. Well, you're right about that. So, this is the person who has been in Scott's ear and helped convince him to ban the game. So, this is an interaction between X-Keeper and Scott on Blue Sky. And you'll notice that these people always have these avatars that look like this. And they look nothing like their avatars. So, here we have X-Keeper crying about the retro achievements. Crying about Pokemon Clover.
So the retro achievement thing is just another shooting self and dick balls, feet neck, whatever. ROM hacking and TCRF.net had to go through something similar with deciding how to handle those kinds of hacks, and we went, fuck this. Why would we ever host this garbage? Fuck no.
And if you're not clear, these are websites that he runs. Or is at least an admin on. So Scott here goes,
Yeah, today was a rough day. Nobody wants to be associated with the hate speech set. Nobody at all. Getting it off the site wasn't as straightforward as I'd hoped. Normally I could just click delete. These days there's a lot more you have to do. Gonna do better tomorrow. Sorry all.
And of course there's someone else here who goes,
IDK man, you own the site. Keeping hate speech off the site seems like you think the owner has the power to do easily. Whatever. I get you, I hear what you're saying, and you're right that it ought to be something I can do easily. The tech has evolved a lot over the past 13 years, and I don't have the best grasp.
because he's barely involved with the site.
Lots of processes in place to keep order. No excuses though, I need to know this stuff better.
So, yeah. X-Keeper is Scott's new friend, and he has been listening to X-Keeper. Yeah. So it's a Karen, yep. A male Karen. Now we should make this explicitly clear because, you know, normally I am fine with being nice to transgenders, but this is not a transgender I can respect, you know. Yeah, you like that, Jam? Every damn time, yep. The voice you're doing is too good.
Oh, you like this voice, Wingus? Should I do all my streams in this voice?
And so somebody on Discord, so this is again from KiwiFarms. This guy compares X-Keeper to Chris Chan, if that gives you an idea of what X-Keeper is like. So he says, I mean, between people that are offended by everything and people that try to offend everyone, I'd rather be with the people that try to offend everyone. The way some users act on RA is lawful behavior. The dang dirty Nazis are going to get us. But none of them can define what a Nazi is, and all of them seem to think it's just what you call someone that you disagree with. Hell, X-Keeper is way worse than Chris Chan. Chris Chan doesn't have a horde of orbiters, and X-Keeper has the same mannerisms as Chris does.
Get that dang clover off, RA Nazis! I haven't touched grass in years, and something that grows here is foreign and scary to me.
So, if that gives you an idea of what this X-Keeper guy is, and we're going to dig into him, chat. We're digging into him. Yeah, exactly. That's a man, babe. That's a man, baby. Yeah.
LMAO, the voice. Super serial. The voice reminds me of Al Gore from South Park. Holy shit, worse than Chris Chan? That's fucked, bro. God damn.
Yeah, so, oh yeah, we're going to dig into him here. So X-Keeper is most notably the co-founder and administrator of the Cutting Room Floor. Now, Is this the... What's going on with this? Let me just double check this logo here. Okay, no. Let's do it. So he changed that later on, but originally this logo here was supposed to be a tranny flag, but I guess they changed that. So the Cutting Room Floor is a site that documents cut content from video games, right? And this is a great idea. I like this. This is... I'm all for archival. I support archival. But this is the kind of person that runs it. It's a person that will ban anything that he finds objectionable, despite the fact that this is an archival site. That is literally the worst kind of person you could have running an archival site. So, this is his user page, Xkeeper. So he's just talking about how he made the site. Let's see. Yeah. So, yeah, he's trying to be some, you know, quirky type of person. And he has made a ton of messes over the site for a very, very long time. Yeah, these people hurt my brain with their retarded bullshit, I swear. Yeah. Yeah, these are lunatics. So yeah, he's trying to be all quirky with the cactus. And we'll get to his homepage in a bit, don't worry. So there, just as an example of what a disaster of a person this Xkeeper is. So this is another user on Cutting Room Floor, former user. This is what he did to this person's site. Now, Josephine Lethius, I believe, was actually another transgender, his or herself. So this X guy bans this user, wipes their entire page, and puts in this whiny message going,
This user is a huge loser who had a big meltdown over the wiki running pride flags. They wanted to be that person, the one who goes, I know that people who complain about this are seen as bigoted because doing this is what bigots do, but they are banned forever and will not be missed. While they made some contributions to the wiki, unfortunately the smell of being an unrepentant bigot means their user page gets this defaced tombstone instead. Dumb hill to die on, but at least you're dead. You can view the page history if you care about what was here before.
So yeah, not only did he ban this user over a disagreement, but he actually vandalized their page and just basically started whining about it. So, and if you want to know what happened, here's some more context behind the conversation. So these wiki talk pages are a little bit confusing, but so this person, Josephine, whatever, Jolie for short, goes, I'm going to be that person and say, it's your site, you can do what you want, but I just don't think it's the right venue for that sort of thing, no matter how subtle it might be. So in reference to thinking that the tranny flag is not necessarily appropriate for the site, which, you know, it's reasonable. He just says, I don't think this is the right venue for it. Fine. Wait, at least you're dead? Yeah, I mean, I don't think the person is actually dead. I think he's just talking about how he banned him. God, that was awful to listen to. Yeah. I gotta keep doing the voice for Fractured. Gotta keep doing the voice. So, in response to this polite message, this Xkeeper goes,
Thanks for your input. I've put it where it belongs, in the garbage.
So, you know, you got these other woke people crying about it. And somebody says, regardless, you can use this user script to change the site's logo for yourself. And then this Xkeeper person goes,
That is so incredibly petty, I am genuinely amazed. Actually, I will go as far as to say anyone who uses that user script is an abject, outright loser. And if I did not have better things to be doing with my time, I would find ways to make such scripts miserable to use and upkeep. Imagine being such a child that a pride logo makes you desperately need the original. Pathetic.
And so this person just says, I guess I fall into that category too, since I'm currently blocking the logo with my ad blocker. Opinions are like noses, everyone has one, and they don't always agree on what smells good. What one person finds unpleasant might be okay to another, just something to keep in mind. And then this person's the X-Keeper person's response is,
I do not think you are compatible with this website.
now, I don't know about you guys, but that middle thing, the part about if I did not have better things to be doing with my time, I'd find ways to make scripts miserable. Something about that makes me think of pedophiles. I don't know why. I don't know why, but something makes me wonder if his better things involve molesting children, allegedly. Allegedly, chat, allegedly. It wasn't your voice, just what the retarded tranny wrote. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I know this is real, but it sounds exactly like the stereotypical dialogue one would write to make fun of these type of people. Yeah. I mean, stereotypes exist for a reason, right? Not always a good reason, but in this case. Yes. And the loudest ones are the ones that turn out to be these weird, disgusting pedophile types. Because you don't really hear about the ones that are just quietly living their lives. Because they usually go hand in hand, allegedly. Yeah. Bingo. There is a disturbingly high incidence of that sort of thing in that group. Jerry says, I got an email 40 minutes ago from Google that they're changing my location to New York, and this can entail age verification? What? Why are they changing your location to New York? Aren't you somewhere in Europe? Jeez. So there's a little more here, and it'll we'll tie this back around to retro achievements here. So Scott's new pal, X-Keeper here, has a blog. And he doesn't post to blog all the he doesn't post to his blog a lot. But here's a little something for you. Retro achievements and moderation.
Or in short, it's 2025, man. You really don't gotta allow Pokemon racism version.
And there's an update too, which we could... Oh, okay, no, that's not his update. That's just retro achievements. So we don't need to read all this, but he says that Retro Achievements posted an update, and this was originally how they had the right choice, where they talked about preservation, before they switched to censoring things in their final announcement. So this person says,
First of all, as someone involved in archival and preservation, it is extremely strange to me to consider this preservation or archival. What it is creating an all-new set of achievements or traditions for old games, and rewarding the people who engage and play with those editions. There's nothing wrong with this, but it's not archival or preservation. It's a stamp card.
Yeah, so he's crying about this, and the user code of conduct apparently already includes bigotry and whatever. So he's crying about Pokemon Clover, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course, Clover is a parody of Fortune's Intersport culture, as well as a parody of Pokemon as a whole. Yeah, there's all sorts of silly nonsense in there. And of course, he does the current year thing.
It's 2025, man.
So yeah, he's crying about that, and then he's crying about users not liking this. He's crying about users not liking the censorship. And of course he talks like a Tumblr user.
You just can't actually discuss it here at all.
Oh God! Look at this right. Look at this chat. I'm gonna have an aneurysm, chat. I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
At this point in their shoes, I would immediately close the forum thread, post a "Holy shit! Oops, we made a big fucky wucky," and throw the set into the garbage.
God. So he's saying what he would do, and it's all complete bullshit. And basically saying he wants to ban anybody talking about it. Sheesh.
A few hours and 42 pages into the mess, the founder steps in and closes the thread.
So this is Scott locking the thread on the announcement.
Great progress. The important thing is to get that decision out soon, stand firm with it, and keep things focused so that bad faith bullshit doesn't come stir up trouble. Again, it's 2025. There's no place for this garbage, and you know it.
Hey, jeez. These people are only making me want to play this ROM hack a Pokemon and stream it. Yeah, it's making me want to do it too. Yeah, I mean, because it's apparently it's a decent Pokemon ROM hack too. So, yeah, go for it, man. I don't know. Yeah, my time zone is Cali, VPN at Pittsburgh. Guess they can't see my true location after I change to fiber optics. All down for the change. This also means to whom my videos are first pushed, which market sense-wise makes more sense. Hopefully, this will revive my dead channel. But the timing, lol, got triggered by AI chat filter. Sees me talking with Yins. Yeah, that's weird, man. Yeah. This person is a living, breathing meme. Oh, this person is a total lolcow. There is an entire KiwiFarms thread dedicated to him, which is where I got some of this information. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay, I got you. So then he's talking about 177. That was also taken down. Clover is over. Yeah, and so this is the update here where he's talking about how they did a total 180 and decided to ban Clover. He's crying about
A lack of direct and decisive action, including stepping in and going, "Stop making bad face, slippery slope, etc." arguments, has left the Discord channels in slow mode.
And again, he goes to slippery slope, which, as we just learned from when we were talking about, the new Texas ID verification laws, the slippery slope is very much a real thing. It is a very real argument, and it is constantly being proven right.
There have been talks of making a block games list so you can hide recommendations about games you don't want to play. The implication is that this would greenlight so-called offensive hacks, since well, you can just hide the ones you don't like.
Yeah, so he's basically crying about the new idea of just letting people block what they don't want to see.
Nobody likes taking medicine. As I said before, I have a simple solution to this problem. Take a hard stance. Make people take their tolerance medicine.
That's, completely ridiculous, right? He's trying to shove his politics down someone's throat. He's trying to shove his politics down your throat. Let's see. Yeah, so he's just crying, whining.
There's a reason the term Nazi bar has been getting thrown around.
What does that even mean? Oh god, it's some new soy boy speak. So it doesn't matter. Okay, so he's crying about a bunch of stuff, blah, 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 crying about Discord, I really don't care. Jeez. So basically this person is saying, no, this hack existing is not going to put anybody in danger. And he's crying about that. So, yeah.
In today's world, being around as long as it has, I don't know how we're having this debate. I just don't.
So here's this Liz Star person who's very, who we've been seeing around the RetroAchievements site a bunch of times. I thought they were trolling, but they're serious.
Also important to note that one of the admins quit over this. He posted a big manifesto about it and left after the Clover was announced to be taken down.
I'm assuming this is Telly.
He, like most of the people on the Discord making these comments, had the joke mocking pronouns in his pronoun section on Discord. Red flags, they are everywhere. Good riddance, TBH.
And you got more of these soy boys. This is really ironic because he's saying that a lot of these free speech absolutists can't take what they dish out. They dox you, send pizzas, bombard you with child porn, and flood you with rape death threats. The absolute irony of this, because this is exactly what these leftists do. They will do all of these things to you. Let's see. And then there's an important one here. Here we go. Here's X-Keeper's new best friend, Scott. The owner of RetroAchievements.
Hi, I want to first say thank you because this is an extremely well-written post-mortem for the events of the weekend. I've asked the staff to read over this as a guide to help understand the impact, what has happened so far, and to appreciate the effect our choices are having. I especially appreciate the nobody likes taking medicine part above. This outlines really well how we ought to deal with this. I'm planning to put a statement ASAP that helps govern the next steps that fits the site community well. I completely agree. It shouldn't remotely take this long to say hate speech is bad. No thanks.
So, as you can see, Scott is clearly a big fan of X-Keeper. And, so I know we're being told that, they're trying to get Scott away from X-Keeper and trying to fix him, but I'm not optimistic because it seems like Scott really likes this guy and likes what this guy says, moreover. So, I would be shocked if too much changed. And on top of that, I think Scott really just likes taking in the Patreon bucks, so I don't see why he would want anything to change. So Scott sucks dick. Gotcha. Yep. Most likely. Would not surprise me. But, yeah, so that is, I think that is all the updates I had for now on the RetroAchievements saga. So it seems like, in short, a bunch of people have quit. Some people are trying to convince Scott to hand over the reins and to implement a better system. I'm not optimistic, but you know, who knows? Maybe it'll work out. And Scott's new best friend, X-Keeper, is a complete lunatic, who is a big part of why they banned Clover in the first place. So I'm not even into Pokemon that much, but I would be tempted to try out Pokemon Clover sometime.